Hi, I'm Steve from Resolute Private and welcome to our March update. Well, can you believe it? We're almost 3 months into the year and I wanted to check in and see how your 2019 goals were tracking. Quite often people write their goals down at the start of the year, but then never refer back to them or actually take any action to achieve those goals, which makes you ask the question, what different outcome are you truly expecting to achieve? Quite often I see goals that relate to cash flow and budgeting. Now I know two things about budgets. One is that people don't like to budget, and two is that budgeting in a traditional sense I don't think is all that effective. When I mean budgeting in a traditional sense, I mean setting a budget, then at the end of the month going through your expenses and ticking and flicking and determining whether you're under or over budget. Quite often I find people are over budget and their reaction is, damn, I've been bad, I'll be better next month, and that cycle just continues and there's no accountability. So quite often I have clients that come to me and say, look, we've tried budgeting in that traditional sense and it hasn't worked for us, or it hasn't worked for many other clients. And it hasn't worked because A, it takes a lot of time to go through your budget and determine what your expenses are, and you'd rather be spending that time doing something that you actually enjoy. And two is that you're not accountable and your budget is always backwards looking, not forwards looking. So what's the solution? I think the solution is quite simple, and the solution relates to automating your cash flow. So we believe at Resolute that it's most effective to have your income paid into one account and then splitting that income into a number of sub-accounts, such as accounts for bills, lifestyle expenses, goals or holiday accounts or variations. It doesn't really matter what those sub-accounts are, but having that structure in place. And what you'll find when you have that structure in place is that there'll be three major outcomes. One is that it doesn't take a lot of time to manage a budget because it's automated. Two is that once your spending limit is set and you've spent that money, you've spent that money. And three is that all of a sudden you become accountable and your cash flow becomes forward looking, not backwards looking. And the result of all that is that your cash flow becomes predictable instead of being unpredictable, which takes you to a place where you want to be in the future and achieving whatever your goals may be. So we're going to keep it pretty brief this month, mainly because in 2 weeks' time, a week and a half time, we've got the federal budget on April 2nd, and we'll come back to you with an update on the budget and how that may affect you, and we'll run through the pros and cons of what's being proposed. So that's all we have time for this month, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Thanks.